Monday, October 11th, 2021, Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome everybody this evening and those watching at home. Mr. Mallon, would you please call roll?
Yes, Planning Commissioner Beal.
Commissioner Veal, present.
Commissioner Cradoff. Commissioner Honeycutt. Commissioner Banks.
Present.
Commissioner Billups.
Present.
Commissioner Peel.
Present.
Commissioner Graham. Commissioner Stokenberry.
Present.
Commissioner Rohr.
Present.
Commissioner Hose. And Chair Sanderson.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum.
So we have several public hearings tonight, so I just wanted to read through the public hearing procedures. I'm going to open the public hearing and call for exhibits. We'll have staff comments. The applicant will come forward and make a presentation if they would like to. We'll call for witnesses in favor and then witnesses opposed, and then have general discussion and questions, and then bring it back up to the commissioners for a motion. I would say if you're going to be speaking in witnesses for favor or opposed, please keep it to 5 minutes or less unless you have a general speaker speaking for multiple people, and try to keep it to new items so there isn't a bunch of repeating. So tonight's agenda consists of the minutes from the September 27th Planning Commission meeting. Item 2 is a conditional use permit for Summit Behavioral Services. Items 3 and 4. Rezoning and PD concept plan for Chapman Ridge second phase. This one has been requested to be continued to the Monday, November 8th agenda. Item 5 is a vacation of utility easement for 1105 Northwest 7 Highway. Items 6, 7, and 10 is rezoning, general development plan, and preliminary plat for Dollar General. Items 8, 9, 11, and 12 is a rezoning, PUD concept plan, and final plan and preliminary plat for the retreat at Chapman Farms. Item 13 is a final plat for Palo Park, 5th plat, Lot 5. Item 14, master sign plan for Culvers. Item 15, other business, and item 16 is adjournment. And at this time, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda for the approval of the September 27th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Chair,
Commissioner Peel.
I move that the Planning Commission minutes for September 27th, 2021 be approved as submitted by staff.
Have a motion from Commissioner Peel. Do I have a second? Second. A second from Commissioner Rohr. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carries. I'll now open the public hearing for agenda item 2, conditional use permit CUP 09217946, and I would ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
All right, thank you. And as for the staff's presentation, Ms. Kelly.
Good evening. The first item on the agenda before you this evening is a request for the approval of a conditional use permit for the operation of a school at 2100 Northwest 7 Highway, which is located on the northeast corner of Northwest 7 Highway and Northwest Manor Drive. The proposal also includes the lot adjacent to the east, which is 615 Northwest Manor Drive. Both parcels are zoned GB General Business Zoning District. The approval of a conditional use permit is required for a school to operate in a district that is zoned GB General Business. The inclusion of the adjacent lot is necessary in order to meet the parking requirement. The two lots total approximately 1.18 acres. There we go. The existing building on the property was previously used as a daycare. The applicant projects student enrollment to reach its maximum attendance of approximately 20 students over the course of 12 months. At maximum attendance, the total number of staff will be 23. The applicant proposes to install 33 parking spaces, 2 of which will be ADA compliant. Traffic circulation during drop-off and pickup times will be counterclockwise and one-way, entering through the eastern driveway and exiting through the western driveway, with vehicles stacked from the east on Northwest Manor Drive. No traffic is proposed to stack on Northwest 7 Highway. During non-pickup and drop-off times, both drives will serve as both an entrance and an exit. Staff has concerns about vehicular traffic circulation within the site and on Northwest Manor Drive and Northwest 7 Highway. The current application is solely for the approval of the conditional use permit. If the conditional use permit is approved, the property will require the approval of a preliminary and final plat. Concurrently with the platting process, a site plan design review is also required to review the parking lot expansion and associated landscaping and other site improvements, including a 5-foot ADA compliant sidewalk along Northwest 7 Highway. The conditional use permit, if approved, shall be valid for 12 months. During this time, all proposed property improvements shall be completed. If all property improvements are completed as conditioned under this conditional use permit and future site plan design review and platting applications, the conditional use permit will be renewed indefinitely. If required improvements are not complete within 12 months of the approval, the conditional use permit must be renewed for another period of time to guarantee improvements will be made, or the conditional use permit may be revoked or expire. Improvements include, but are not limited to, a 5-foot ADA compliant sidewalk along Northwest 7 Highway, parking improvements, and landscaping improvements. Staff reviewed the applications and find that all review criteria have been met and allows improvements to be made to an existing site and land use. Staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with 4 conditions. And I will stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward and make a presentation or speak? So if you can be sworn in, state your name and address for the record, please. Okay.
Oh.
You solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this case will be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Need your name and address.
Dan Matthews, and I live at 1230 East 188th Terrace in Pleasant Hill, Missouri. 64080. Hi, I'm Dan Matthews. I'm the owner of Summit Behavioral Services. We've been in business here in Kansas City Metro for approximately 11 years. We provide an array of services from in-home and school-based consulting to a couple of on-site programs, our private schools, schools where we contract with area districts to provide support for students who exceed their, whose demands of service exceed what the district's able to provide. We contract with nearly every district in the metro and have worked with many of them for over a decade. We have 2 schools, one in the Northland of Kansas City and one in Olathe. And this will be our 3rd school, designed for children with developmental disabilities ages 5 to 21. We primarily work with kids with autism, and we are excited about expanding east so that we can pick up more of the smaller rural districts and provide better services to those in need.
All right. Any questions for the applicant by the commissioners? All right, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in the audience like to speak in opposition to this project? Okay, seeing none, any further discussion by the commissioners? Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing, and I would ask for a motion on the conditional use permit.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Banks.
I would like to make, I think this is gonna be an addition to our community. I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit of CUP-09-21-7946 of Summit Behavioral Services
With the 4 staff conditions?
with the 4 staff conditions, I'm
All right.
sorry, yes.
All right, thank you. Have a motion with the 4 staff conditions from Commissioner Banks. Do I have a second?
I'll second
it.
Second from Commissioner Stokenberry, and this will be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Veal,
Commissioner Veal, aye.
Commissioner Banks,
Commissioner Banks, aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rohr,
Aye.
and Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
Okay.
7-0.
All right, so that motion carried. This item will be recommended and heard by the city council at their Monday, October 18th meeting at 6 p.m. All right, thank you. So I'll now open the public hearings for items 3 and 4 and ask for a motion to continue rezoning RZ 0921-7956 and PD Concept Plan PDC 0921-7957 to the Monday, November 8th Planning Commission meeting. And we gotta read that part too.
So moved.
Yeah, so I have a motion from Commissioner Peel. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Billups. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carries, and these items will be continued to the Planning Commission meeting on Monday, November 8th, 2021. Now move and open the public hearing for agenda item 5, vacation VAC 0921-7959, and ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
All right, thank you. And as for staff's presentation, Mr. McGee.
Thank you, Chair. Before you this evening is a request for a vacation of a 5-foot utility easement at the former Disney's restaurant property located at 1105 Northwest 7 Highway. The property is zoned GBPUD, General Business Plan Unit Development. The request for the vacation of a platted 5-foot utility easement located on Lot C of Blazer Center subdivision. No public utility is located in the easement to be vacated. Vacating this easement will increase the buildable area on this property for a redevelopment of the site for a new restaurant tenant, Tacos for Life. There's a utility easement platted through the existing building in which there is no record of being officially vacated by ordinance. Therefore, a request to vacate this easement needs to be made. All the utilities have consented to the vacation request except staff is still waiting for confirmation for Spire Gas. However, there is no currently a gas line within the easement. Staff recommends approval of the vacation request with 2 conditions. I'll be happy to answer any questions you all may have.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward and speak? You'll need to be sworn in and state your name and address, please, for the record.
Do you sound swear the testimony you're about to give in this case, and do the truth, so help you God?
I do. Matt Slish, Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. So on behalf of the applicant, again, it's just the old Denny's site that we're in the process of getting torn down and put up a new restaurant for it. So this along the way showed up, and we're just trying to clean it up before we start the construction of the new one. So we're here for any questions you might need.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant by the commissioners? All right, see none. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition to this project? Okay. Any further discussion by the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion on the vacation.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Veal.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the vacation utility easement 0921-7959 with the 2 conditions.
All right, have a motion from Commissioner Veal. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Peel. This will be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Banks,
Aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rohr,
Aye.
Commissioner Veal,
Aye.
and Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Motion carries with a vote of 7-0.
So that motion carried with the two staff conditions. This item will be recommended and heard by the city council at their Monday, October 18th meeting at 6 p.m. Thank you. All right, I'll now open the public hearing for agendas items 6 and 7 for the rezoning RZ 09217960 and GDP 09217961. And the staff will also be presenting agenda item 10 for the preliminary plat PP 09217962, and I would ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
I offer the following exhibits into the record for RZ 09217960. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And 9, 7 emails received in opposition to request. And for GDP 09217961, I offer the following exhibits into the record. 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And 9, 7 emails received in opposition to request.
All right, thank you. And as for staff's presentation, Ms. Kelly.
The next item on the agenda is a request for the approval of a rezoning, general development plan, and a preliminary plat for the property located at the southeast corner of Southwest 7 Highway and Northeast Colburn Road, which is approximately 4.4 acres, for the purpose of developing a general commercial building for a Dollar General store. The subject property was annexed into the city of Blue Springs on August 2nd, 2021. Prior to that date, the property was in Jackson County, which has its own zoning designations. As a condition of annexation, properties must be rezoned to a city zoning district prior to subdividing and developing of property. The property must obtain approval for a rezoning to GB General Business to establish a commercial business. The applicant submitted a general development plan application and a preliminary plat application to be reviewed concurrently with the rezoning request. If all applications are approved, a final plat and site plan design review must be approved prior to building permit issuance. The proposed building is a one-story general commercial building which will be approximately 10,640 square feet. The lower one-third of the proposed building's exterior facade will be composed primarily of brick. The upper two-thirds will be composed primarily of plank siding. Staff believes the conceptual building renderings meet the intent of the building design standards. However, the architectural plans and details must be finalized in the site plan design review process. The proposal includes one access drive onto Northeast Colburn Road for vehicle access. Currently, no public sidewalk exists along the portion of Southwest 7 Highway or Northeast Colburn Road abutting this property. Prior to occupancy, a 5-foot ADA compliant sidewalk must be installed as required by MoDOT and Public Works. As required by code, a 5-foot private sidewalk is proposed connecting the building's main entrance to the parking lot and existing public sidewalk. Additionally, a 9-foot sidewalk is proposed along the front facade of the building, and an 8-foot sidewalk is proposed along the east side of the building, connecting the main entrance to the parking lot. 15 feet of right-of-way behind the proposed or existing curbing along both roadways will be dedicated. Staff believes that the requested rezoning is compatible with the surrounding area as it is at the intersection of two arterials and near comparable commercial properties that serve both the immediate neighborhoods and through traffic. The proposed development will be adequately screened and buffered from nearby single-family neighborhoods. 7 emails in opposition to the proposed development were received. They are included in the packet. Staff reviewed the applications and found that all review criteria has been met and allow the vacant lot to be developed. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning application, the general development plan with 3 conditions, and the preliminary plat with 3 conditions. And I will stand for any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? All right, seeing none, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward and make a presentation? You'll need to be sworn in and state your name and address for the record, please.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be true, so help you God.
I do. Michael Osborne, Call Valley Engineering, 14700 West 114th Terrace, Lenexa, Kansas, representing the applicant, Capital Growth Buchalter. They have applied for the rezoning, the general development plan, and the preliminary plat, as staff has helped us out getting through the process. We appreciate staff's efforts on this. Staff's pretty much explained the basis of the project. It's a 4.5 acre lot, kind of a unique lot. It has a large drainage system through it. Kind of precludes the northwest portion of this lot to kind of be developed, and so we've tried to maintain that in its natural state. We've positioned the building such that we've maintained the proper setbacks and allow for proper stormwater detention, stormwater clarity, and also for any other utility improvements that may be needed for the site itself. We believe the design is in compliance with the UDC requirements and all of your design development requirements also. As you've seen, they've gone a little above and beyond what you would see a general standard Dollar General store being developed as. They've gone ahead and put the hardy board siding, the bricks wainscot, special lighting in the front, awnings. They've tried to personalize, scale the building with the faux windows on the sides and the front. They'll eventually landscape the entire development, which will, of course, the final part of that will come through the final development plan stage that will be presented back to staff as we work forward in this project. That pretty much covers the basis of the project as a whole. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have regarding the project.
Any questions for the applicant by the commissioners? Okay, see none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this project? Okay, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition to this project? Yep, go ahead and come forward, and you'll just need to be sworn in, and then state your name and address, please.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be true, so help you God.
I do.
You can name your address.
My name is Sheldon Oxner, O-X-N-E-R. I live at 11X Street, Lake Lotawana. A few years ago, when you were planning for the Chapman Farms above, and some of the issues that were coming out of that, I was asked by the association to head up an engineering committee to try to monitor some of the work that was done at Chapman. And quite honestly, the city, in my view, has failed in that regard and ended up requiring some of the association people and I to meet with the head developer for Chapman, because we had developers going out there and grading with no silt fences. We were having 2 main coves there, which at that time I lived on one of those 2 coves, where we just got, every time it rained any at all, we got mud. So this, between the association, and I'm not so sure that Blue Springs wasn't involved eventually, in trying to correct that pond that's there where the drainage is. That drainage area has always been a problem in water quality and how we affect the lake. At that time, there were times when people couldn't swim in that cove because of the runoff. After we met with the developer who had sublet all these other multiple developers, and they were just out there kind of running loose with their graders, they did start reinforcing. We actually got MoDOT involved, or not the development one, revenue, but we got them involved and they actually helped get it resolved. So when I hear gentlemen say that they're gonna try to clean up with retention and drain off. I don't trust that. So I'd like to know that the planning has worked with them to develop some standards. You know, just like Walmart, when Walmart was going to go in there, Walmart had a system of collecting runoff, retention, and had to clarify it, and it had to be tested before it ever entered into that lake. So I'd like to see something done about any runoff that comes off of there into the lake, because that is an ongoing problem, and as long as we have more and more development that comes into that, that's a major artery of the lake, and just like to see it managed well. So,
Is there
and
any,
one other note, I'd like to see the building dressed up more. I mean, it's nicer than some Dollar Generals you see, but it needs a little more look to it. Thank you.
Okay, if you could just, one moment, sir. Any questions for this witness by the commissioners? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there any, anybody else who would like to speak in opposition of this project? Okay. All right. Any other further discussion by the commissioners?
Chair,
Commissioner Peel?
I believe at some point this area that is undergo development was not able to be zoned residential, so there was no period at all that there would be any residence built in that area. So I think the GB is a good designation for that area, because for some reason, I don't know why, that it wasn't going to be developed as a residential.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep. Commissioner Banks?
Thank you, Chair. I do have a question for staff. If there's a concern with water runoff going into the lake, has that been addressed with the applicant? Because I know that we're talking about rezoning, so do want to know.
Adam, would you like to?
Yeah.
Just, excuse.
Well, do you want to address? I mean, the city's stance on the water quality is we follow APWA 5600. It's a standard for designing stormwater detention and retention systems. It's what we follow with every development. And as a part of that, we there's typically a best management practice or a BMP or a series of which are installed on these projects. In this case, they're proposing detention, which would follow the MARC manual. The Mid-American Regional Council has a manual on those best management practices for stormwater. So those two documents combined basically make up our standards for stormwater, which are applied to all development projects. So we have not yet seen the stormwater report, but it will be required, and it will be required to adhere to those design documents.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Any other discussion by the commissioners? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing, and I would ask for a motion on the rezoning.
Chair,
Commissioner Peel?
I move that rezoning request RZ 09217960 for Dollar General be approved as submitted by staff.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Peel. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Rohr. This will be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Billups.
Aye. Apologize. Commissioner Billups, aye. Commissioner Peel.
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Aye.
Commissioner Rohr.
Aye.
Commissioner Veal.
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Okay. And Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Sorry about that. That does carry with a vote of 7-0.
All right, so motion carried. This item will be recommended and heard by the City Council at their Monday 18th meeting at 6 p.m. I would now ask for a motion for the General Development Plan.
Chair,
Commissioner Peel.
I move the General Development Plan GDP 09217961 with the three conditions for Dollar General be approved as submitted by staff.
I have a motion from Commissioner Peel with the three staff conditions. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Stokenberry. This will be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Peel.
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Aye.
Commissioner Rohr.
Aye.
Commissioner Veal.
Aye.
Commissioner Banks.
Aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Aye.
And Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Motion carries with a vote of 7-0.
Motion carried with the 3 staff conditions. This item will be recommended and heard by the city council at their Monday 18th meeting at 6 p.m. And I would ask for a motion on the preliminary plat.
Chair,
Commissioner Beal.
I'd like to make a motion to approve preliminary plat 09217962 with the 3 conditions.
I have a motion from Commissioner Beal with the 3 staff conditions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Peel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carried with the 3 staff conditions. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to open the public hearing for agenda items 8 and 9 for the rezoning RZ 09217963 and PUD concept plan PUDC 09217964. Staff will also be presenting agenda items 11 and 12 for the preliminary plat PP 09217965 and PUD final plan PUDF 09217966. And I would ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following exhibits into the record for RZ 09217963. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And an additional Exhibit 9, which is an email in opposition from Justin Clark. And for PUDC 09217964, I offer the following exhibits into the record. 1, staff report with attachments. 2, applicant plans with attachments. 3, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 25, 2021. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And an added exhibit number 9, email from Justin Clark in opposition.
All right, thank you. And as for the staff's presentation, Mr. Wright.
All right, thank you, Chair Sanderson and Commissioners. Before this evening, a request for a rezoning, a PUD concept plan and final plan, and a preliminary plat for the retreat at Chapman Farms, which is a proposed 57-lot single-family subdivision covering 26.29 acres. Property is located east of Southwest 7 Highway between Southwest Chapman Farms Drive and Southwest Mason School Road. The property is currently a mix of commercial zoning districts, as well as a single-family zoning district that makes up a majority of the property. The northern 21.67 acres was included in the original Chapman Farms PUD in 2004, and the southern 4.62 acres is not included in the PUD, but is proposed to be added as part of this rezoning. This project is a resubmission of a similar proposal that was reviewed by the Planning Commission on August 23rd. Due to significant neighborhood opposition and a recommendation of denial from the Planning Commission, the applicant withdrew the plan prior to City Council consideration. The applicant has revised their plans and has addressed the concerns from that original proposal, and a list of those revisions were included in the staff report on pages 2 and 3. The first request is to rezone the subject property from SF7 PUD RO, which is single family planned unit development restricted overlay. Most of this property is currently zoned single family. There is service office at the northwest corner of the site, as well as a mix of central business and regional commercial at the southern end of the site along Mason School Road. The districts along Southwest Mason School Road have a separate restricted overlay that's separate from the Chapman Farms PUD that specifically limited the regional commercial zoning district to the development of a car wash. The remaining central business zoning district generally allows the uses that were permitted in the general business zoning district at that time. The additional requests are for a PUD concept plan, a PUD final plan, and a preliminary plat for the entire 26.29 acre property, which includes bringing the south 4.62 acres into the Chapman Farms PUD and overlay. The 2004 PUD concept plan designated the service office property for a 4,700 square foot office building and the remaining single-family property was designated as a religious facility, which also included an accessory school and athletic fields. The remaining commercial properties are not currently part of the PUD, but are proposed to be included under this concept plan, which would include 57 single-family lots as shown on the screen, for a density of 2.17 units an acre. Access to the development will be provided through existing streets from Southwest Chapman Farms Drive to the north and Southwest Mason School Road to the south. Minimum 5-foot sidewalks are required along 7 Highway as well as Mason School Road, and 4-foot sidewalks are required on one side of all other streets. As part of the PUD enhancements that are proposed, the development would provide 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of all local streets, as well as meeting the exterior sidewalk improvements along Mason School Road and Southwest 7 Highway. Single-family lots are reviewed under the detached house neighborhood lot building type standards, which include the requirements on page 9 of the staff report. Through the PUD concept plan, the applicant is requesting, the only modification requested is to the maximum lot size frontage width to increase that from 120 feet to 137 feet, and that is primarily due to the street curves. There are some along the curve where the lots need to be wider to accommodate that. All other development standards, including the minimum lot sizes and setbacks, are met with the proposed plan. Under the 2004 Chapman Farms PUD, the existing single-family zoning portion was required 23% open space. The site has provided 32.1% open space and also meets the 2015 code open space standards, which requires 10% of the site to be active open space. The applicant has provided 19.17% of the site as active open space, almost twice as much as required by the code. That includes Tract B up here at the northeast corner of the site, which will include a trail on the north and the south side of the existing pond, as well as a playground and benches for outdoor seating. Landscape buffers are required adjacent to Highway 7, as well as adjacent to the lead bank property at the southwest corner of the site. Landscaping and common tracks are also required. All landscaping requirements have been met with the provided plan. Additionally, a 6-foot fence will be installed, which is better shown on this site plan in the solid bold line, adjacent to Southwest 7 Highway, as well as the bank property, both north and east of the bank property. The fence is proposed as a 6-foot vinyl privacy fence. Individual lot landscaping and street trees are required to be installed with the construction of each home. The minimum livable floor area classification requires classifications to minimize the differences in house sizes within and between adjacent subdivisions. The applicant is proposing minimum classifications ranging from 1,600 square feet to 2,200 square feet. These minimums generally decrease from northeast to southwest. Adjacent subdivision minimums range between 1,600 square feet to the north in Lakeside, 2,400 to the northeast in the Shores, and 2,200 to the east in Greenbrier. Staff does believe that the intent of the requirement that minimum sizes be comparable to adjacent subdivisions is met, as where lots are adjacent to the perimeter of the subdivision, they are no greater than 1 step down from the adjacent subdivision. Due to the wide range of minimums of adjacent subdivisions, more than one classification is requested on a single block. The code does state that there is a requirement that no more than one classification be applied to a single block. However, due to the number of minimums and trying to find a happy medium between the Shores that has a 2,400 square foot minimum and Lakeside at 1,600, staff does believe that the intent of the code has been met. However, that is noted as a deviation from the code, as they are requesting 4 classifications in a single block due to that item. Front elevations have been provided, which include a mix of single-story and 2-story homes with front-loaded 3-car garages. The building elevations and styles and materials are generally in keeping with homes that have been constructed elsewhere, in Lakeside, The Shores, Greenbrier, and Ridgewood Place. And then the applicant, again, is proposing a playground at the northeast corner adjacent to the pond. This is a visualization of an example of what that could look like. Staff reviewed the rezoning request and finds that the requested rezoning to SF7 PUD restricted overlay is in accordance with the 2014 comprehensive plan and the S1 area plan, which classifies this property as mixed use, mixed density residential. Although staff has concerns with single family adjacent to 7 Highway, the addition of a wider landscape buffer and privacy fencing with the PUD concept plan helps mitigate those concerns. Rezoning the entire property into the Chapman Farms PUD and rezoning to single family better protects existing single family residential to the north and east, which developed after the property was rezoned in 2004 and 2006. Rezoning to remove the restricted overlay that limits the development of a car wash along Southwest Mason School Road particularly makes sense, as staff no longer believes that that is an appropriate use given the amount of residential development in close proximity. And staff did review the PUD concept plan request and finds that the development plan is consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, as well as the area plan, which integrates housing choices into neighborhoods and corridors. Although the plan recommends higher density development, the proposed single-family subdivision serves as a continuance of existing neighborhoods to the north and east. Additional housing units will support future planned commercial development in the Chapman Farms area, including commercial development on properties that are within walking distance of the subject site. The Chapman Farms PUD was intended to provide a wide range of housing options, including diversity in housing types, densities, and price ranges. This PUD concept plan is better aligned with the 2014 comprehensive plan than the current plan, which was approved in 2004. With that, staff recommends approval of the rezoning, approval of the PUD concept plan with 5 conditions, and approval of the PUD final plan and the preliminary plat, each with 6 conditions, and I will stand for any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? Thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward and make any presentation? You'll need to be sworn in. State your name and address, please, for the record.
Yes. Tiffany Ford, Summit Homes. Tiffany Ford, Summit Homes, 120 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. Thank you for the very nice presentation of the project. Just wanted to let you guys know that I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Any questions for the applicant by the commissioners?
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Peel.
Tiffany, would you consider striking standing seam roof off the building materials?
That's not a decision I could make, but it's something that could definitely be considered. It is a material that's used as an accent material, as just a portion over the, there's one image, that image there that has that as an accent roof piece, just to add a different elevation material.
Oh, which one are you referring to? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, right there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions for the applicant by the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I do have a question.
Mr. Banks.
I see there's been a lot of changes.
Yes.
And I'd like to know, did you meet with the residents?
We met with the residents prior to the last planning commission meeting and heard their feedback. And based on the letters that were received and the feedback that you guys provided at the last meeting, we wanted to revisit the plan and make it better for everyone's requests.
I want to commend you for the consideration, because you've made a lot of changes, and I think it's really good that you respect the residents there.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant by the commissioners? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this project? Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition to the project? Okay. Any other further discussion by the commissioners? All right. I'm gonna close the public hearing, and I would ask for a motion on the rezoning.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Banks.
in consideration of all the changes and improvements they've made, I'd like to make a motion to approve the rezoning for the retreat at Chapman Farms, RZ-09-21-7963.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Banks. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Rohr. I think I heard you first. And this will be a roll call vote.
All right, Commissioner Rohr,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks,
Aye.
Commissioner Veal,
Aye.
and Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries with a vote of 7-0 with the, how many?
None
That's the
on that one.
rezoning, so
Yep.
7-0.
So motion carried. The item will be recommended and heard by the City Council at their Monday 18th meeting at 6 p.m. I would now ask for a motion on the PUD concept plan.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Banks.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the planned unit development concept plan, PUD-C-09-21-7964 for the retreat at Chapman Farms with the 5 staff conditions.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Banks. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Stokenberry. This will also be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rohr,
Aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Banks,
Aye.
Commissioner Veal,
Aye.
and Chair Sanderson.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0 with the other
5 staff.
5 staff conditions.
All right, so motion carried. That item will be recommended and heard by the City Council at their Monday 18th meeting at 6 p.m. I would now entertain a motion for the preliminary plat.
Oh, I hate to, anybody else?
Commissioner Banks.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the retreat at Chapman Farms. I'll change it around. PP-09-21-7965 with the 6 staff conditions.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Banks. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Veal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So that motion carried with the 6 staff conditions. I would now ask for a motion for your PUD final plan.
Well, Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Banks.
finish it up. I will make a motion to approve the planned unit development final plan for the retreat at Chapman Farms, PUDF-09-21-7966 with the 6 staff conditions.
Thank you. I have a motion from Commissioner Banks. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Veal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carried with the 6 staff conditions. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 13, final plat PF 09217953 for Paulo Park, 5th plat, lot 5. And I would ask for staff presentation from Mr. McGee.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is a request for a final plat for Palo Park Commercial 5th Plat Lot 5. The property is located at northeast corner of Southwest 7 Highway and Southwest Palo Park Drive. The final plat covers 1.40 acres and includes 1 lot. The property is currently undeveloped and zoned GB for general business. Staff has reviewed the final plat and finds that the plat meets all requirements for future development and is in compliance with the preliminary plat approved for Palo Park Commercial in 2001. Prior to development, planning applications will need to be obtained and other approvals may be needed depending on future land use. The final plat includes ingress-egress easements which connects to the subway property. To the north, this includes a shared access drive southwest 7 Highway, which already installed. Staff recommends approval of the final plat with 2 conditions, I'll be happy to answer any questions you all may have.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Billups.
I'm being nosy and curious. I'm assuming since we're looking at this preliminary or final plat, and this has been sitting out there for many years, that there's a project that's gonna be coming forward at some point. I'm sure you can't talk about what the project is, but can you give me an idea of the timetable? Are we gonna see something fairly soon?
I will have the applicant speak on that.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff by the commissioners? All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward? And we'll just need your name and address, please.
Sure. Matt Slish, Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. Yes, we're estimating it'll come quickly. The developer was surprised that after the 20 years, this final plat wasn't done. So this is a process in my former life with my former company that we created the preliminary plat. We thought when we did the subway, all that was done at that point, but apparently we only created the subway plat. So he has a buyer that is eager and ready to bring a project into the city, and we just got to get the ground platted so that he could purchase it. So I think, yeah, you'll see it in the very short, many months ahead of us.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant by the commissioners? All right, thank you.
No problem.
Any other further discussion on the commissioners? Okay, then I would entertain a motion on the final plat.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Billups.
I would move for approval of the final plat PF 09217953 with the 2 staff conditions.
All right, have a motion from Commissioner Billups. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second from Commissioner Peel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So that motion carried with the 2 staff conditions. It'll be recommended and heard by the City Council at their October 18th meeting at 6 p.m. Next item on the agenda is item 14, Master Alternative Sign Plan ASP 09217955 for Culvers. And I would ask for staff presentations from Ms. Bright.
Before you this evening is a request for an amendment to an existing master sign plan for the installation of 2 menu boards for Culver's Frozen Custard at 1301 Southwest 7 Highway. The property is generally located at the southwest corner of Southwest 7 Highway and Southwest Victor Drive. It is zoned GB, PUD, RO, and includes approximately 1.51 acres. The proposal includes removing the existing menu board and replacing it while also adding a new menu board for an additional drive-through lane. With the addition of the proposed menu boards, Culver's entire site will have approximately 224 square feet of signage. The only thing Planning Commission will be voting on tonight is the menu boards, since all the other signage has been previously approved with the master sign plan. The menu boards from grade are about 55 square feet, and the sign code only allows ground-mounted incidental signs to be 40 square feet. When calculating just the sign area, the signs are about 47 square feet. The menu boards do not exceed the maximum height allowed, as they will only be about 6 feet tall, and they will be set back at least 42.9 feet from the western property line. Staff supports the request since the applicant is planning on adding an additional drive-through lane to accommodate more customers, and the signs will not be legible from the right-of-way. Staff reviewed the applications and found that the only code deviation was that the signs would be exceeding the maximum size allowed for a ground-mounted incidental sign. Staff recommends approval of the master sign plan amendment with one condition, and I'm here for any questions that you have.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff by the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Phillips.
I understand we're only looking at the signs, but in this process, we're also losing, it looks like 3 parking spaces. Are we still within code as far as the number of parking spaces on this lot?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for staff by the commissioners? Commissioner Peel.
Chair, there is that, the peak line that goes into the parking slots there, is that a wall of some kind or screening so that that people don't come through and get into the drive-through lane or something like that?
I believe it would be a type of curbing, but I would refer to the applicant for a
Okay.
confirmation.
Question 2, these signs, the face of them are facing the, like a shopping area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Adair. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions for staff by the commissioners? All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward? Can you just state your name and address, please?
Matt Slish, Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. Yeah, so after many years of waiting, Culver's has finally authorized the franchisees to start putting double drive-throughs into the restaurants. So the owner of this Culver's is with us, and he's been doing this on every store he has available. So it's a great thing for Culver's to have and the opportunity to produce it. So obviously we need to add the extra menu board for it. I think from a parking standpoint, obviously the answer is that gigantic parking field that is adjacent to it, as well as our on-site parking far exceeds what's required by code. So we had some additional space in there, so it really worked well on this site specific to get that access in there. Additionally, there's enough lane width in there or length in there to stack cars a whole lot better than we do right now as they kind of get into that entrance and that kind of area. So this is a much improvement for the overall area, I think, is our opinion, that site. And then for the drive aisles and the pieces of it, it'll be separated by just standard height commercial curbs. Some of the area will get concreted in, some will get landscaped depending on the widths and the areas of it, but essentially it'll get put to that piece of it. So, and then I would be remiss if I didn't tell you the store is still open, so if this does entice you after the meeting, please join.
Any questions for that? Yes, Commissioner Peel.
Chairman, Matt, do you know the additional stacking ratio?
I don't remember exactly what we did. I think staff's requirement was we had to have 5, and we showed it 5.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 that we showed that was in there. The benefit of what we get here is that you had the same 5 from the menu board location that was there, but adding the additional lane to it now, essentially we're able to double up. So it creates this position now that we have just an extra probably 5 or 6 cars that we can store in that site before we get out basically onto that private drive that's in the commercial area.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions for the applicant by commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Phillips.
Yeah, I'm glad you're improving the stacking, because the stacking through the parking lot was really painful sometimes.
Sure.
I just wonder, again, on this, going back to this parking, yeah, we've got the overflow over there. Do you have any kind of an agreement? Do you need any kind of an across agreement to allow that parking to overflow into that lot?
So,
Pretty sure that already exists from the original.
So
Right.
if you're gonna speak, I'll have you come forward.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
what he's saying is, I think from originally that overall development was put together in the pieces of it. I don't remember off the top of my head, because like I said, we've been looking at a number of them, but I do believe there's an agreement that already allows some cross parking through the pieces of it. But like I said, our site parks an adequate number and has access already, but our point was just that, people will do what they do, and there is some additional parking space obviously beside.
It may be adequate. It does get full.
Yes, it's one of those curses of a good use. We're very happy that happens, and we'll continue to try to improve it. But yes, you're right. It is a situation that as a restaurant we always try to improve on.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thanks. All right, any other further discussion by the commissioners? And I would entertain a motion for the, on the master alternative sign plan.
Chair,
Commissioner Peel.
I move that master alternative sign plan ASP 09217955 for Culver's with the one condition be approved as submitted by staff.
I have a motion from Commissioner Peel. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Commissioner Veal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that motion carried with the one staff condition. That brings us to other business. Mr. Wright, Mr. Mallon?
I'll let Mr. Wright.
well, we had a meeting scheduled for Monday, October 25th. However, we have no items for that, and since there were no continuances this evening, we can cancel that. So that meeting will be canceled. Our next meeting will be on Monday, November 8th. Also at that meeting, I don't know.
1 second, Matt.
Do we need to have a motion to cancel it?
Oh yeah, we probably do need to have a motion to cancel the meeting, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Billups. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Peel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Got that out of the way.
Okay. Other business, I'd also like to announce that Planning Commissioner Ashley Hose did submit her resignation for the board, for the Planning Commission. And as such, we will be down to 10 members for a while until the mayor can appoint somebody else. And as you are aware, former Commissioner Hose served as the vice chair of the Planning Commission. So one of the agenda items on our next meeting that we have will be to elect a new vice chair.
Okay. Any other staff business?
I would just say that this meeting ran very smooth. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, it was quieter than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the commissioners have any other business? Okay. If there's no other business, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, or a motion for Commissioner Peel, second from Commissioner Rohrer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, really?
What time?